Shall we talk now about where you start when you don't know where to start and you have something to research?
So you should all be able to see what I'm doing now, and I am in Google, for God's sakes. All right, I'm never going to stop you guys from using Google, even though you think it's the most credible source on earth. I just want to tell you that there's a bag of salt underneath your drawers. Hold on to that bag of salt. Google is very good to look for baby sloth videos, and it's very good to find, does he love me? 10 signs that he loves me, right? But when it comes to cases, go grab that salt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. I want to tell you.
I'm not really understanding the salt analogy here, but
basically take anything that you can see in Google with a grain of salt.
I'll take it with a grain of salt. Okay.
Grain of salt.
So open Google and get your grain of salt and just pop it on your tongue to start off with, just to remind you.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to illustrate for you. Let's say you're heading into your first introduction to law and justice, right? And the first case you'd get would probably be, say, carbolic. And you go, what the hell is that? Carbolic smokeball. And the first thing which comes up is Wikipedia. I can't stop you from going to Wikipedia. So we're now going to Wikipedia and looking at cowl and carbolic smokeball.
I noticed your cursor went immediately to the videos for the cats. But anyway, that's muscle memory for you.
That's muscle memory. Now, okay, shortcut, right? So you go into this case and go, wow, what an amazing name, carbolic smokeball. Why am I looking at a case from 1892 when we were in 2021? You keep going through that. A lot of old cases surface on your first year of law.
Especially in the black letter subjects, actually. So the ones where the law doesn't change dramatically very often. Yeah. So particularly contracts. Used to be torts. Torts has got a few more interesting things happening more recently, but
yeah. So, again, you can read this as a precursor to the real case you need to read. So carbolic smokeball is a case from the UK, and it's about misleading representation, in which it's about flu. So we're in 2021 now, we're coming out from the massive global flu pandemic called COVID. So this is quite timely in that sense. Why am I showing you this? Because this will be the first thing you do. You Google carbolic smokeball and come here. That's fine. However, there are other sources you need to look at in order to understand this a little bit better. So this is a UK case, and immediately in 2 paragraphs you can go, oh, okay, it's about this, it's introductory contract case, first legal case. It even says here, first legal case a law student looked at. That's true. That was one of my first legal cases. In fact, yours too, Kat. Now, after that, go back to Google, and you'll see a lot of other blogs and university sites which tells you carbolic smokeball. What I'm going to tell you here is this. Yeah, look at Wikipedia, but do you know who actually edits and curates the content in Wikipedia? No, we don't. Are they law students? We don't know. Are they hamsters? Are they dogs? We don't know. We really do not know, right? It's volunteers. It's
people who are interested. And to be fair, Wikipedia is probably better than most things because of its open source nature. And there are people who will just sit there and their particular interest will be carbolic smokeball, and they'll be looking for anybody who does anything wrong and they'll swap it around. But, it also could be law students who are trolls and just decide that actually they just want to steer other members of their class off in the wrong direction. And so particularly with lesser known cases, we'll just go and change the dates around or mess things up.
I'll show you how easy it is to actually change stuff in Wikipedia. Then you have a big surprise. You go, oh my God. So I'm back in carbolic in Wikipedia, and you can actually go view and look at the text and the code and play with it. That's how easy you can actually interfere with it, right? So that's why I'm saying salt. Now, going back to Google, where we had carbolic smokeball, the good thing about this is this, right? At least it gives you a precursor of what you need to know. And then you can look at other sites, a little bit more credible sites like Deakin, for example. They've got a sample case summary. You can go there and have a look at it. And in fact, there's actually a video on carbolic smoke ball.
There are so many carbolic smoke ball videos, and they're all terrible. They're just terrible.
So Bailey is the UK equivalent of Osley, their UK cousins. And this is the source of carbolic. Printed in a very easy to read manner, that you can understand what it is. And yes, you are expected to know this. It's awful. Look at the formatting. I will die. And the language. Don't forget it's 1892, right? So, but it's still important. There are principles in there which are still important to this day.
I think this is an important thing to remember too, that research isn't just about finding the thing, it's also about making sense of the thing. And so, I think we're right that most people do head to Google very early on in the day. That makes sense. Why do they do that? Because really they want to see what it is that they're looking for. I actually tend to do it with a textbook first, or particularly if your course or your subject or your unit, whatever it's called at your law school, has notes, course notes. Reading those first is a really good way to start, because it helps you in what I think of as the Where's Wally game. You got a great big long piece of text to read. Unless you know what you're looking for in that text, you're just reading a whole lot of text which is difficult to read. So starting with Google, I have no problem personally with people starting with Google either. I just think people who finish at Google are stupid. I think there are plenty of law lecturers who would disagree with me, and would, if they find out you're starting with Google, they're going to look at you in a particular way. But, that's their problem, not yours, I reckon. I'm
going to be on the camp of, I'll pretend you didn't use this. I know you're going to use this anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to show you what's the safest way of using this.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
You can do this, carbolic smoke ball, and you go principle. Yeah? So you don't have to type the whole thing. For God's sakes, Google's already done that for you. So there you go, carbolic.
Suggesting that you're not the first person to look for this.
There you go. And then it tells you, it's about this. So the word principle changes your search results now, because it's not just Wikipedia which is coming through. Wikipedia is now the third result displayed, but other people or other sources are talking about it a little bit more in depth. Now, I know Loxology is a credible site. It's a site which curates what's going on in the world, current awareness in the law sector. So I know that from my work, and also with EOISAC as well. It's credible. So just a little bit. That
is a good question, though. How do you know which are the credible sites? I mean, you work in the industry, I do.
So I can tell you, I can rattle off the list, but when you use keywords to a term, you're literally narrowing down the people who write, right? So principle, it's like saying, what's Einstein's principle? And then juxtapose that with who is Einstein? So any clown can say who's Einstein.
So, what is carbolic smoke ball is very broad, where the principle in carbolic smoke ball you're using, or perhaps even ratio.
Or argument.
Argument. The kinds, again, legal language, yeah?
Yeah. What is carbolic arguing about? Why do you use this to argue anything? So argument, principle. So you're using a word to narrow the curation that Google has. Like Google has what, 12,000 results. You just want the most credible. Now, let's say you don't know nothing about anything, right? So we start in Google. The next one I want you guys to always remember is this guy, Osley. And I keep saying guy because the founder of Osley is a guy. I'm not being sexist. It's Professor Graham Greenleaf. May long he live. In 2021, I think he's 85.
Yeah. I mean, it's a visionary project, this project, isn't it? Visionary project.
It's very visionary. And you probably look at me and go, Osley and Bailey, are they cousins? Yes, they are. You're very smart. And I'll tell you how it started. 1998, the year that was when internet burst into its amazing Web 1, Web 2. Graham, back then, thought of an idea that we could curate all the legal information in a country in a platform which is available open access.
Imagine people actually being able to work out what the law is rather than having it in very expensive volumes in ivory towers.
I know, right? So this one is, I should know this, it's Auslii, AUSTLII.edu.au. Put it as bookmark.
But that's where we're going to stop this video. There will be continuing videos. You'll see another one that immediately follows on from this conversation. But Sue has also made database-specific videos for each of the broad cases that we're going to cover shortly. So while she and I will discuss Auslii, there is also material that will be specific to navigating the world of Auslii, which is not for the faint-hearted. Enjoy.